Good morning. I thought I'd drop in for a quick check in. I've been trying to chronicle as the Gangsta Grannies have been here for this month-long sabbatical. So I've been having coffee online and just giving me an opportunity to stop and really give some reflection and commentary on what's happening and doing it in real time so that I don't forget, because at the end of the month, no way I could remember all of the details and things about what happened this month that might be significant or just important to me. And so good morning. Up making coffee and chopping stuff, fruit. And today I'm going to the ceramicist that I'm working with, and we'll be firing pottery today. And they've got an invitation to go with me. Raku style is a Japanese style pottery. And we'll be going over clay art by Holly is one of the teachers. And a previous guest before the Gangsta Grannies got here wanted to do some ceramics classes. And I had wanted to do another class, but knowing that they were coming and wanted to do that, I decided to wait until they got here. So I went and did ceramics with the previous guest, and the Gangsta Grannies will have the opportunity to go and participate. The day that we do firing is kind of like a party. It's a celebration day. We sit around and we watch the fire and watch the magic happen as it makes its final transition into the finished pottery. So I went earlier this week and glazed them. And we'll be doing a healing circle a little bit later today. I'm not sure if both of them will be going. If so, then we'll probably do it while we're out at the river. Holly also lives right across from the Tomibamba River, just farther up in town. So that's on schedule today. So I'm up getting some breakfast, some coffee for myself, get some breakfast made, and probably take stuff to be able to have picnic lunch or at least picnic snacks while we're there, because we may be there for several hours, getting the fire hot and then firing and just the whole process. So I'm really excited about that. I've got 10 pieces. I went in earlier this week to glaze them on Tuesday, and the glazing is just a really interesting process. She's got some samples where she's actually glazed some pottery to be able to see the color. But in one instance, I put one on that might be a yellowish, and when you put it on, it just looks black. And so it's really trust the process. And I came back and really shared a little bit about that. This healing work is like trust the process. We're going through the steps and just trust that we're going to get to the resolution. We're going to get to some relief. And I think the ladies have been talking about that already, some of the connections, the dots that they're connecting in their own life and in their own healing experience. But really what stands out about yesterday is about recognizing and honoring growth. That came up several times in the day, but we started kind of in the morning with that idea. I'm going to grab some cream for my coffee. But growth and taking time to recognize and honor growth. One of the Gangsta Grannies shared that we were going to meet earlier in the morning. We had had breakfast and we were going to meet, and she thought she had finished her writings, and she says, I'll be down in 10 minutes. I'm going to run up and run back down, grab my journal. And she got up there and realized that she hadn't done as much as she thought she had. She may have thought about it, but she hadn't actually finished the portion of work that she had committed to do for the day. And so she wasn't prepared. And she just messaged us and said, can we do it a little later? And we both said, yeah, fine, no problem. But as she shared later, she shared about the tension and the, I don't know if it was immediate, but pretty swift jump into gaslighting. You should have, you insert whatever gaslighting might be relevant in your life. But she began to talk to herself in a less than loving way. But she said that as soon as she did that, she caught herself. And she said, hold on, we ain't doing that. Let's just go in and get it done. They'll wait, there wasn't an expectation. There wasn't a pressure being put on her from the outside. But she recognized that there was that internal tension that she had created and that she caught it. Like almost immediately, like very quickly in this process, instead of going down a windy path of, self-harm with our words, internal words sometimes, she caught herself and she said, I'm not doing that. I'm not getting ready to add more damage to this situation. She acknowledged it, but she decided that she was going to really align with the truth. And the truth was, get it done. There's no pressure being put on you to be able to move any faster than you need to be able to move. And it stopped her and said, do you realize that's what growth looks like? It realized it's having a situation that previously you would have beat yourself up for the next 2 hours or 2 days. But instead of that, you realize that, hey, this is not beneficial and it's not even true. I'm getting ready to take myself on this windy path of destruction over something that's not even true. It's not even real. One of the earlier cohort members, I think Wendy, says, it's fluff. It's not even true. It's just, we made it up. You made it up. You made up this criteria, this standard that you had to reach, whether it be perfectionism or, whatever. I didn't do it. I thought I did, but I didn't. And you move on because that's facts. But you are able to move on without the self-judgment and just the whole line of things. And so we talked about that, and that sometimes is what growth looks like. It's sometimes not these great big moments. It's the little moments in life. And then in that conversation, Wita shared about her yoga journey and about being at a heavier weight, about telling herself what she couldn't do and having a teacher that said, I think you can. And her willingness to try. She showed us a picture. The teacher said, let me take a picture. And we talked about those milestones. Sometimes it's a physical picture. Sometimes it's a mental push pin that we put in an event or a situation. But that is what growth looks like sometimes. And then I asked her, how far away does that seem? And she's like, whoa, like way in the distance. The ceiling to what you thought you could do, what you had the capacity to do. And then you do it. And then you grow past that. And that those become those examples to ourselves, oftentimes, of what growth really looks like. Sometimes in the healing journey, it's like your hair. You don't see it growing until you run up into a situation and you realize, wait a minute, I'm processing this situation better. Last year, last month, yesterday, this situation might have spiraled me in a way that might have been familiar. But I see that this time I'm not taking it down that dark road or into that hole. I'm not taking myself down that trip. I'm not damaging myself as much in the gaslighting. And so that really was on my heart this morning as part of the reflection of where we were yesterday. Because it's growth, one realization, one moment of life untangled and lifted. Growth doesn't always look like the big things. So often it's a collection of the small things. And if we stop and look back, we realize we've grown. And that's the hopefulness. But it takes remembering, it's like I told them, take this moment, take that feeling that you had and your response and recognize the betterness in your response. It was more loving to yourself. It was more gracious to yourself. It was more patient with yourself. And remember that. And I think that's a part of this, that it's a whole lot of big and small things, but it's a whole lot of small things that really encompass what growth looks like. And I'm glad the ladies are seeing that. What else did we do yesterday? It was kind of a rainy day. We did group more like midday lunch. We spent a lot of time talking about food and cooking, which gives me joy. Rita likes to cook, and Danielle says she will gladly wash the dishes, which works out just fine. But we had... this is the time of week where it's the rush to eat it up so we can go back to the market again on the weekend and get some more. but it was the midweek stash day, and it was like, we need some more fruit. So let's walk around to the neighborhood fruit stand. And but it was raining. And so I said, let's just wait a little while. I could call a car. We could go walking, but I don't really want to go walking and get rained on like that and then have bags to carry home and just, I don't want to. So I said, let's wait because I think I see blue sky coming. And sure enough, the rain pushed through and the sky looked like it was going to clear up enough for us to make it there and not get rained on. But we took our umbrellas just in case, and we went and stocked up on fruit and a little bit of, I don't even know if we got any veggies. Little bit, but it's the supplemental market run before the weekend. So, but we're in eat up the veggies, eat up all of last week's market stuff before. So I think we ate up all of the broccoli that we had. We had a broccoli mushroom stir fry over rice with a little bit of soy sauce. And then we had tomatoes that we were eating up. So we had a saute with tomatoes and carrots and onions and garlic, and that was very tasty as well. And I think there was a little bit of soup that we dished out. And then this is where we tired. We're going to bed. Everybody goes to their part, goes to their corner, and manages their sleep needs. They went upstairs maybe a little after sunset, which is relatively early here, 6:30. We have this really nice 12-hour of daylight, 12 hours of darkness. It's really quite balanced by being here really close to the equator. And being able to just go rest, go to bed if you want to, being able to really manage your real life needs for rest and recuperation, regeneration is really a part of what this month is for the ladies. It's part of what life is for me. It's the lifestyle of saying, are you balanced? And when I see the imbalance, choosing the kinds of things I can do to restore balance in my own life. But one of the things that they're recognizing is energy. Healing takes energy. It doesn't look like motion. They may be sitting at their desk writing, or on their bed writing, or on the patio or at the park writing. But the emotional energy, the life currency that it takes to do that. Sometimes it's heavy, sometimes it's expensive. And sometimes you need to go rest or listen to music or go for a walk or go out, be in nature, go hug the trees, go walk the neighborhood. Weda's been making her way around the neighborhood and practicing her Spanish quite successfully. That sometimes is the fear. That sometimes we're not willing to take the move because it triggers insecurities in us. And so even that is part of recognizing the fear and the insecurities or guilt trips that may come up. And then moving beyond that, she was able to go to the store that my neighborhood tienda used to be right next door, but it's moved half a block away. So I got to go a little bit further. She went down there. She was able to communicate with them and get the things that she wanted from the store. There was someone selling ice cream in the area. She was able to communicate and find out all about what she was selling and the ice cream and being able to maneuver that. They went to the bread store after we got a produce. We got a watermelon and a bag full of oranges, like they're 15 for $1 right now. And they're really good for making juice, but they're heavy. And I know from experience that I'll get halfway around this corner and it'll be heavy and I'll be wanting to sit down because I got my bags of stuff and these bags with these oranges and a watermelon. So I have just learned if you get watermelons or cantaloupes and pineapples and heavy stuff, just call the car service. The car service is literally right across the bridge around the corner. And so I messaged them, please come get me, come get us and take us home. And it's $1.50. And I already know this. And they said, we want to go by the bread store really quick, which is right around the corner from where I get the produce. So I said, go quick. And as the car came and got me and the fruits and the melons, when we came around, Weta was coming out. And I said, I'm going to go in. They have limited Spanish. So I'm going to go in and see if they need any help. Well, they didn't. And that's quite awesome that Weta was coming out the store. She had bought a little treat for one of the dogs in the neighborhood who was very happy. But they were able to go and maneuver just life. They wanted to go to the bakery and get something or go see what was there. And they were able to go and get what they wanted and make the transaction and pay. And like I talk about the fear and the insecurity about language. And once I got over that, my goal and really identify what my goal was, and it was to communicate effectively. And I feel entitled to use any of the resources I have to be able to do that. Some days my brain be too tired, and I say, talk to my phone. My phone talks a whole lot. Some days I have to stop them. And lady at the market, she started fast talking to me, and I got right up to her and said, if you talk fast to me, I ain't going to understand nothing. I'm a gringa. I'm an immigrant. I'm a Quancana, but I'm my immigrant Quancana. Stop fast talking to me. Stop fast talking to me. Talk to me where I can understand you, please, please. And she just laughs because they're familiar with me. They're people in my neighborhood. One of the guys that kind of works with the stand is one of the drivers that drives me regularly, so they know me. In that loose kind of way that you know the people in your neighborhood, you know the people that you interact with on a regular basis. And so even that for them, really challenging the insecurities that they may have had coming into a foreign country and thinking that you might be bound by that. And then realizing the freedom that you have if you just try, that your try really is good enough. And so they're getting all kind of experiences and opportunities. I'm excited they got to meet my friend Hector, who's going to be holding ceremony Saturday. I'm excited about that. We're going to the spa tomorrow. We'll be doing our healing circle tomorrow. I'm excited about that. We'll do our final step 1 healing circle at Pachamama Heal on Saturday as they get to the end of the step 1 process. The first 10 days have been really uncovering, digging down and really pulling out the facts of some of the situations in life that have caused harm. And so we'll be celebrating that. And then Sunday, we'll be going for breakfast and an art walk with one of my favorite places. La Guarida is a farm-to-table restaurant that just warms my heart. But one of the other things is the relationship they've developed with maestro ceramicist and artist Eduardo Segovia. It's his birthday this week, and they will be doing an art walk that will really feature quite a few of the murals that they've collaborated with young artists to replicate in the community, the 45. And we'll be going to breakfast and an art walk. It was one of the things I shared with them. And then the opportunity came up because La Guarida sent out the announcement about this activity. And I said, we'll get 2 birds with 1 stone, one going and visiting the restaurant. We already know it's going to be either a vegetarian quiche or quiche Lorraine will be part of the lunch because he'll go and shop specifically for those foods from the local producers, which is part of what I love. As a retired farmer, I retired from farming and running a farm-to-table restaurant, and I know it's a labor of love. To not buy commercially packaged food, to be able to go and interact with farmers and buy fresh produce from that takes extra labor. And I just appreciate his commitment. When we first met and were communicating, because I was questioning, a lot of people say farm to table. Okay, what does that mean to you? So I understand. And he was telling me about the women's farmer co-op that he buys from sometimes. And that sold me, he's supporting people like me, and that means a lot because that support is so important to sustainability. So it's one of my favorite places. We share an affinity. They've got a new facility that's beautiful. They've moved just a few doors down from where I originally met them and renovated a patrimonial house. And it's just a beautiful place to be. And it makes me feel good. And just having the opportunity to share that with the ladies, it's a joy. Sometimes the opportunities come up when I have guests here. Sometimes it doesn't. This time it just worked out that we could swirl the art, which I had shared with them about, you can just go to the neighborhood and be able to see all of the art, but an intentional art walk and breakfast at one of my favorite places. So I'm thrilled to be able to share that with them. So we've got a few days where we'll have some activities as we switch into the next year. The next 10 days, they will be doing an even deeper dive into step 2. And so we're gonna get a little play and celebration in and dive back in for the next step in the process. So I'm grateful for this opportunity to share with them these tools that are really lifestyle tools for those who are committed to a healing lifestyle. tools to be able to help you deeply heal from the things that life has given us. And so I'm grateful for the opportunity to be able to share. I'm grateful for them trusting the process. And hopefully they will receive the value out of the process and out of the work that they are investing. And so if you haven't checked them out, follow them. They're chronicling their story as well. Ouida Patton, and that's Ouida Patton, and Danielle Brooks, both of them on Instagram and on Facebook, sharing their journey. You can find their links on the Gangsta Grannies global website. That's in the chat. I think I pinned it to the chat. And then if you want to find out more information about the healing work, about the Global Underground Railroad work here at the International Welcome Center, visit that website, globalundergroundrailroad.com, or the collaborative page that talks about all the programming that we've got going on at nowastedtime.com. And if this is of interest to you, we have a shorter version, our Healing Vacation Retreat, that does this work, but it does it in a less intense way. This month-long is quite intense. It's a month-long sabbatical that really spends all of that time in a deep dive of healing. The Healing Vacation Retreat is a week that does introduction and helps do some coaching with helping you learn these tools, and has quite a few excursions that go along with it. And we'll be doing one of those. We have one scheduled for Kenya. We'll be doing a Healing Vacation Retreat on November 6th through the 13th in Kitale, Kenya. We would love to have you participate. And so if healing is part of your lifestyle commitment and you'd like to learn some new tools, the social tech model for healing, not only individually, but healing community, come and join us. We'd love to get you registered and get it on your calendar and for you to come heal together with us. All right. Thank you for letting me come and share and kind of give you my rambling commentary on what's happening here today or yesterday at the International Welcome Center in Cuenca, Ecuador. I'm LaRahna Hughes, chief instigator around here of stuff. And we'd love for you to come heal together with us as well. Take care. Live life fully today.